Hey everyone, I'm Moi.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
But through our own lens, my love, which can be it can be chilly, it can be pumpkin spicy, it can be cloudy and misty, or windy. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweetie.
Hello! We're talking Love After Lockup. This is season 5, episodes 6 and 7, Unhappy Father's Day and Seeing Red.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris and I are putting this together. We're just going to talk about how we feel about each couple, and we're just going to go and talk about it, okay? So, you guys just follow. This is a fun little situation. Have a good time. First couple is Melissa and Louie. Oh my
Chloe.
god. Are they still fighting about this dance instructor? Yes, if you were
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. It's so funny because I do like this part. So this is basically so yeah, she is mad, obviously, the fact that this dance instructor, like, for some reason, seemingly was obsessed with Louis, which she did give that off, but also this air that Louis was like really a great dancer. And Melissa couldn't, have two left feet and couldn't like step in front of her. So, like, that was also one thing. And also, any like person would see that Melissa probably wanted to be a little more cherished and like treasured. And it was interesting that as a dance instructor that you would just keep being like, let me show him, and you stand off to the side, especially if you felt jealousy if she left awkwardly. I think you would try and kind of keep things together, but we're on a show and that's what's happening. But this is the LOL part. So as they're driving, they're fighting, and Melissa wants to be like, "You were flirting with her, and you can't be doing that in front of me." And he's like, "No, I wasn't flirting with her, and also like I would never flirt with her, like because, I mean, look at her. I mean, she can get what anyone she wants. So like, all
Really,
of my
Louie? Really? She can get whoever she wants, Louie?
Yeah, look at her.
So,
She's a young, hot, tight 23-year-old gorgeous dance instructor with a swinging body, and any man and woman would just drool over the possibility of being with her, Melissa. So what's the problem?
the problem is, Louie, is that I think that player Louie is back, and I really don't care what you're doing. Oh my god. She's so
He
annoying. I
Yeah.
hate this jealous girl storyline.
Yeah, it does suck because it's like we're supposed to believe that now without, you know, Deborah or whatever her name is, like being all about Donna. Without Donna,
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's
Who's
like it's
Deborah?
gonna always be a always gonna be a problem. It's like now here's one thing. The problem also is like he looks always crazy. Like his eyes are the beadiest. I don't know what Wa's doing, but I'll tell you, it involved like a Q-tip and Vaseline. I think she's like massaging the in part of her nose. I think she's like maybe like picking it, or I don't know, like,
No, it's
moisturizing
dry.
this.
Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
moisturizing it. So what happens is that like since I moved here, my nostrils are chronically like sore. And so I thought I had cut myself. So I went to the doctor and I was like, "Hey," she's like, "No, it's just extremely dry." And I was like, "Oh." And so now I have like a nightly ritual, which you guys are taking up because it's 11:10 where I'm at, to like do that because it's like on fire. It
Oh,
hurts.
it sucks. Now here is the beautiful parts of them. Okay, so after this part, this is where it gets also very producery and wonky because they're in the car fighting about this, and they're like kind of fighting because like Louis like won't be like, look, I was flirting with her, and that was like awkward because Louis wants to be like, bitch, nothing fucking happened, and I wasn't flirting with her, but he really wasn't flirting. It was really more the dance instructor that I'm gonna blame, and Melissa weirdly is just like for some reason did put her foot down and be like, hey, and literally she can't put her foot down, she's a bad dancer, but to be
Mhm.
like, hey, can you stop flirting with my guy and just like teach us how to dance, which I kind of wish she was like a little
Mhm.
bitchy like
Mhm.
that. But
But she's
anyway,
like, "No, this dance instructor wants to get beat in the face or something," she said as she walked to the bathroom. I'm like, "Girl, you ain't about that life."
yeah, also, yeah, then sit the you're the one paying for this. So if you feel that way, then sit in your entitled mild Karen behavior. I mean, that's like, that's where you can just be like, hey girl, hey, just so you know, I would rather just actually dance with my guy. I don't want to see you dance with him.
Mhm.
Are
Mhm.
you okay with that or not?
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
I'll just make sure that I get a dance instructor that's okay with that next time. Like I'll do a billion things
Mhm.
besides. Anyway, so then we get the scene where okay, Louis has always been a pizza guy. Big pizza guy. Louis, when he had his issues, he's been living here. He was flipping that pizza. He has a friend, and the friend's pizza place is still there. So this guy just suddenly calls him, and he's like, "Hey, man, you're out of prison," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm out of prison." He's like, "Well, come by and talk to me." And he's like, "Okay." Melissa's like, "Okay." Melissa's like, "I guess it's okay. It's supposed to be their last night." So Melissa's like, "I'll just drop you off. Like, I don't know what Melissa's gonna do. We'll figure that out later," which is fakety fake. But basically, she drops himself at this pizza place. They have a long history of that. He used to be working there. He would do drugs, which like anyone that works in restaurants, they always do drugs. God bless. It's like such a lifestyle for drugs. And he's a great pizza flipper, honey. He does the thing like really well in the air. It comes and lands. And by the way, he loves it. When he does it, he loves it. You see the joy it brings, like cooking his life and just being in the kitchen and being like in that environment, anyway. So he starts making pizza and talking about, like Melissa, and he's wanting to, of course, make money and come back. He's been sober 5 years. His friend is like happy to see that. He just discusses how hard it was for him to watch, and they had this beautiful moment where they both kind of cry and talk about it. One interesting thing though, and this part I did find fucking crazy, is that Louis does not know what kind of pizza Melissa likes.
You know
I
what?
find that fascinating.
Maybe he's never had the opportunity to ask her about his pizza. Okay.
The man works at a pizza place. They're like half Italian or something. Like they're Italian. Like, Donna can't cook, and I'm not at all. Which I'm so happy that he had found this pizza place, because at least the man knew how to do something right. Because Donna, like her Italian food sucks. But like
Yeah.
you're gonna be both Italian and like never talk about what pizza you like.
I mean, I don't know. Is pizza like that Italian? Do they serve it in Italy? Or is that just an
Yes.
American? Oh, okay. I thought it was like an American thing. But
No, they
here's the truth
absolutely
is, it's
Naples.
just okay. Good to know. Have you been to Naples?
No, but I have been to Italy and I've had pizza there. I had pizza in Florence.
I haven't been. Um, but it was a good full circle moment to actually see that pizza guy, because uh Melissa went to see him when Louis was still in prison in one of their first seasons. So it was nice to have that moment, and it didn't feel like a fake friend like some of the other people that she, had conversations with. So I thought that was a really, really sweet moment.
Oh yeah.
And afterwards he makes a heart-shaped pizza for her and takes it back to the hotel, where she's just been hanging out on the elliptical machine, like her phone is in the, like she's fully left her phone. So when he went to the hotel room and her phone was still there, I was like, oh, she's dead. There is no way that this person has left their source of music. Remember when we had like an iPod shuffle, or like an iPod and a phone? Remember when it
Yeah.
wasn't the same? Okay.
Yep, I do. Yeah, this is the fakity's fake that she's just like in perfect straight hair and like a normal bra, just like on this elliptical, like barely moving. By the way, for not knowing what type of pizza he brings, like I feel like he brings like one with like some spinach and like peppers on it. It was very interesting. I was like, what kind of pizza did you pick? Like, I'll tell you, there was not a pepperoni on that pizza, not one black
Mhm.
olive. I looked, no pineapple and no like ham, like there was no basil. Like that was either spinach or again, like looked like pepperoncinis, like long pepperoncinis. And I'll tell you this. So then they get off the elliptical and she likes piece of pizza and they barely eat it.
God, what a crime.
I can't.
I know. Watching food go to waste. So
Um,
he's like, wanting to make everything better. And I guess it kind of does, but I'm really getting over this like upset. She's upset. Melissa's upset. That's the storyline. She's upset. And then he's like, "Oh, you're working out." She's like, "Yeah, I wanted to see what all the hype was about." Okay. Okay. So then we move on to Handy and Brittany.
Oh, no, we don't.
Oh,
So,
okay.
basically what happens, because we don't have the notes, remember that? So, I'll tell you what happens in the next episode. Basically, they go teeth shopping. So, one thing that we know about our good
Okay.
friend Louis is that he's been having a mouthful of nightmares, and they've been nightmares, and they can't be nightmares anymore. Melissa's been knowing it's been nightmares. He has not a cent to his name. So, she is like I know that he has to like get a job, and I know that it's like difficult and self-conscious to have that in your mouth. And so she takes him to a dentist, and this woman's like very nice, and like they go do all the things. They're like, look, like it's been some problems we see, and these are your two options. Your two options are dentures, which we all know what those are, things that come out at night. You put them in some sort of solution or whatever, or implants. And implants are always there, in fact, and they almost feel like you just always have teeth. And so, I mean, now you and me hearing this, and Melissa, we know what the option is.
Dentures. Oh, dentures seem way less painful. How do they even insert those? And then also, it's way less money.
Well, what ends up happening was, yes, it's way less money, but then before they even knew that, like, yeah, of course it'd be more money. We also realized it's not just the fucking things. He would have to go and get all these other fucking surgeries to lift a sinus. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I think I'm like a mildly like a plastic surgery know-it-all. Like there's so many things. Not that I know everything. I'm no Nikki, but like like I know what a bleph is. All that stuff. I've never even fucking heard of a sinus lift. Like I don't know if that's a drug thing or what exactly happened or because the teeth were pulled, but there are, in fact, so many surgeries he would have to do in order for him to even get the implants that it becomes unfucking feasible. Like they're just like they say a number
Feasible.
feasible.
Feasible. I know. No.
No, she won't let
I
me.
need you to
I should
red
get
leather, yellow leather until you can get your tongue under wraps, okay? Into control because there's
you're-
been so many crazy ass things you're saying, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let her go because I hate it when she does it to me. But feasible? I
you're
cannot
right.
let this stand.
Listen, don't. I just do things to test you, but at the same time, I will use my elocution. So they're like, oh yeah, just these implants, it's like $50,000, which does seem big, and Melissa doesn't have that, and neither does her sister, because we see her FaceTime with her sister, and when we see her sister allowed herself to be on TV that way, we realize no one has any money.
No.
What? What? What?
I said no one and I laughed. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh
So
my gosh.
he can't do that. He has to get the dentures, and Melissa's like pissed about that because she thinks it's like grandpa mouth, which
It is. But
is,
those are the
but
choices you make when you choose to get with somebody who did heroin and all manner of disgusting drugs and probably activities for years.
it's true. Okay, so they have their final thing, like she has to pay for that. We don't know what's gonna happen with them. I don't know what to tell you. She's gonna leave, and I kind of love the idea though that she has to be like, no, I totally want him to look better. I want him to feel better and better looking because I love it when he knows how good he can look if I pay for it. I'm gonna pay to make him look better and he's gonna cheat on me is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this to myself. I know
Mhm.
I'm gonna pay for this man to look and feel better just so he will cheat on me and bring the STD back to me is what you're saying. And I am signing up. My name is Melissa. And we are all kind of like, why couldn't you see that in them beady eyes? We see them beady eyes. We get that. While I had to look away, she's so mad at me. Anyway, so let's move on to Handy and Brittany. Honey, Handy and Brittany, I don't know. This is dangerous, honey. I mean, I love every second of this. It's great to watch because it's horrible. And they're both disgusting, bad people in their own state of insecurity. And she's a manipulative, narcissistic user, and she doesn't get it. And he is disgusting. What?
Let's take a break.
Right when I'm hot.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. It starts off where she has told him, or she has already just moved into the other room. And it becomes very clear.
Just like it. I can't imagine it just like that. So it's a red flag. Just someone be like, oh, absolutely not. I'm gonna just take that. Like, I'll take that back fucking walk-in closet, just like that kid's mother. I mean, absolutely
Oh
not.
my god. And so like he is so upset. And he doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want to feel like a dirty lech who just can't wait to get this lady's cheeks between his hands. But this is what he's like, gimme, gimme. And she's like, so she moves into the other room and because she's disgusted with him. She doesn't want to be with him. She doesn't want to have sex with him. She doesn't want to do anything. And she gets up in the morning and she tries to go for a walk, but he doesn't want that. He is like, please just come and stay by me and stay next to me. And he calls her and he's like, where are you at? And she's like, outside. And he's like, oh. After he's just finished telling every producer how shitty it is that they're now roommates.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, can I come out there?" And she's like, "I guess."
It's a free country.
Yeah.
It's a free country.
It's so funny. I just like I love it so much. So basically what ends up happening is they have a very awkward conversation where she is like, I just didn't realize how hard it was going to be. And I have to like think of my kids, I have to think about my kids, like, and just like, it's really hard because like, I'm thinking about my kids, and he's like, okay, but I also like, we like literally talked the entire days, like every day you were in prison and like talked about our future. And like, I couldn't wait to take you to dinner. And like, I want to take you fishing. I just like would love to take you fishing. You just can't wait to be a fisherman, with
And she's
you.
like, you hate fishing. And he's like, no, but you love it. So like, this is what I'm doing for you. You see, I'm trying to compromise here. And because you love it, I don't love it, but I think that we should do it because
So
you
you're
do.
being fake. So you're just being fake. So this is all going to be like a fake weird show. And then when things get real, like you'll never fish with me.
It's not, it's not about being fake. It's about compromise. And that's what I'm going to teach you out here, what you don't understand. I am the golden light to heaven, trying to help you stay away from them bad drugs. But you're not listening to me. You don't want to sleep in the same room with me. If you slept in the same room with me, you'd be happier.
Get on that golden dick, honey. But
Mm-hmm.
every thought of him she says like makes me want to jump into my Facebook Messenger, find some fucked up person and take me to get as high as possible. And every time she says things like that, it's just, it's like I understand prison is different. Like we have someone, like Louis, who's like, I'm out. It's been 5 years sober. And we have someone like her who feels like she's not been sober that long,
Mm-hmm.
or it's so very delicate or whatever it is in a way that like nothing has given her the tools and she's not ready. Like this woman does not seem ready to be in public life, and she's done herself a disservice of not like going to a halfway house or going to sober living or going to a place like that wouldn't have probably been fancy and nice, but instead she decided to manipulate some poor schlub to like, because she thought was rich, to give her what she thought she wanted, to like not have any responsibility to do the things she actually has to do. So she presses him. You told me you were going to get me a phone. You told me you were going to get me a car. You told me you were going to get me money, and I haven't gotten any of that. Like, what the fuck? She's like mad at him. Now, here's the thing. I do think Handy absolutely promised those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am surprised that having not been giving them, but given some things, she has the audacity to be like, where are they all? And it's just funny because it's like, he might have promised them, but also, why do you think that you're owed them? Why
Because
does he
because
promise?
she that's what she says. She's like, because he promised it. I didn't ask him for any of that. And then she's like, show me your bank account. So he pulls out a bank account that actually has money in it. And yet she's like, well, how come it's not more? And I'm like, bitch, have you ever had a bank account that just had 2,700 just sitting in there? Don't
He
seem
must
like
have
it.
told her. He must have told her that like, "Oh, yeah, I don't have, like, 20,000 or I don't even know what it's like." But he must have, she makes it seem like he said that he was rich, and he's making it seem like he is poor, right?
I mean, maybe more money than what she's ever expected to ever have somebody have. But she's trying to press him, and I feel like it's a way to get out. To have him be like, well, then just leave. So she can be like, well, you kicked me out. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's a lot. She doesn't want to be blamed for their breakup or for not sleeping with him or for things changing, but she also doesn't want to be kicked out so soon. She wants everything to be on her terms.
I think that this is what I think she wants. I think she wants as much money right now as possible to get the fuck out. She can't leave because she got
Yeah.
$500. She tells him that she gave the 500 already to her kids.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, we're not quite sure how much, but we don't even know if she has any to leave the area that she is now. But basically, the LOLiest part of this is this. So he had said that he had gotten fraud on his card, which is why he wasn't able to give her the full amount of 1,200, but that it's been remedied. And she's like, "So you have the money?" He's like, "Yeah, I can give it to you. I can give it to you on Monday." She's like, "Well, why can't you give it to me today?" He's like, "Well, I can't. It must be over the weekend." And I would infer, and because the bank is closed, and he would only be able to get out a certain amount through the ATM. And she's like, "Well, how much is that?" And he's like, "Well, only like 500 or maybe less because of the fraud." She's like, "That seems weird." So, and what the fuck, what fraud is this? Like, "Well, no, I totally had fraud on my card, but I didn't report it because I still wanted to use the card." She's like, "Come again.
Yeah.
You had you had fraud on your card. You had fraud on your card." And he's like, "Yeah, it's illegal gambling. You know I'm not a fucking gambler. It's legal." So someone, think about this, hacked and got this man's credit card. They used it online, which is the easiest purchase to make. It went through for $100, and this man thinks all is fine, is what he thinks, that this person wouldn't do it again, that his $2,700 is safe. Like, this is what this man wants us to think is a true thing. So, because he's like, "Yeah, like I didn't report it because I still want to use my card, but I will." Like, I don't know if he thinks like he's gonna report it at some point when the charges go through or whatever. But like, it's very fucking sketchy. And all he can say is, "Well, I'm not a gambler. Like, no, I've used it in other sites. Like, just not that site. Like, no, it's like, no, that definitely was absolutely fucking fraud."
Yeah. And she's like, "No, you done it." And then he gets pissed off and he's like, "How dare you? I'm not da, 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 da," and he storms off and she's like, I mean, if the pot is a pot, then let's call it black."
If the smoke is a smoking, then call the fireman.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. All right. So next person that we are going to talk about is Joinomi and Red. All right.
hmm
Is there any more? Did I miss something?
Yeah. No. Do I know me? Yeah. Do I know me? And as yeah. Uh.
She is she had bubble guts or something the night before and she was upset. She didn't go to sleep. So when it came time for them to wake her up, to get up and go to get ready to go greet him, she's late and the entire family is pissed.
We had met the
Oh,
entire family, including Paris. Like, that's what I think we're about. Yeah, we had met the entire family, including his. There's Paris. There's the young other yeah, it's like the kid or the
their
nephew or the
cousins,
son.
sisters, there's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
there's like at one point they have a whole like walk of them, like a full like chorus line of them like coming, and they look like almost like the character of like a
Reservoir
sitcom.
Dogs.
Yes, yes, yes. I loved that shot.
Yeah.
Obviously, his mother and the sister, and they have a conversation in the car. She finds out. So Joy Nomi finds out because of the mother that at some point Red was having money being sent to him by other women
To give to her.
to give to her, but he never did. Right?
Oh,
When did he give her the
no.
money?
No, the mom was giving the money. So
Got it.
the other girls gave the money to the mom, and Red told the mom to give that money to Joinomi. And it
Got it.
feels like all of a sudden the mom doesn't like her. It feels like in this car ride, because she's
Yes.
late, everyone has turned against her. And now they're telling her Red is seeing other people and giving you money from them and that, yada, yada. Like all of a sudden they're like, "Well, how come you actually haven't gone to see him yet?" And she's like, "Well, because of I haven't had the money to go." And then they like try to clock her on something else. And she's like, "Well, how I choose to spend my money is how I choose to spend my money. And if I chose not to spend my money to come and take a flight and a drive to see him, then I'm not going to do that." I can't imagine flying is that comfortable for her.
You're absolutely right. So, but there's just two car rides. So I know there's a car ride to get to the hotel and the car ride to pick him up. So the car ride to the hotel is when they tell her about the money.
Oh.
The car ride to get him is when they talk about her not having gone and visiting him.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
So yeah, like whether there was conversations that happened in they're all like obviously at like a Marriott. And you can tell like when they full check in, like, they had that little like chips, sundries place or whatever. And you're right. That's when the mom and the editor left it in. That's like, "Hey guys, got to be at the car at 8." So it's funny because they don't set it up right to let us know how late Joy Nomi is. All we
Yeah.
know is that she couldn't sleep. So when she comes down to the car, the mom's like,
Yeah.
"We don't really know, bitch. Is it 8:15? Is it 7:55? Is it 9? I mean, like, where
Yeah.
are we? Just I wish I would have enjoyed. But yeah, like Joy Nomi kind of goes back and forth between defensive, but then Red gets out. Red looks a lot younger
Oh,
to me than I thought that he was going to look. Eh,
yeah. And more
Joy,
handsome.
Abso-fucking-lutely. He hugs Joy Nomi and he kisses her so passionately. He's like so happy to see her. Like, that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl.
Yeah, and it makes her feel so validated. It's like the last couple of days of stress has been like wiped away. She's like, there's a lot of questions that I have to ask him, but I'm not going to ask him right now. The family is just showing him a lot of love, and he comes back to her at the end to give her that validation. And it's just like a good time. And they get into the car, and do they go to somebody's house? But anyways, it's just a good time. Like all I remember thinking is that she was validated, she was happy, and she feels bad to take him away from all these people. But
Yeah, they go back to someone's house. They're all sitting down, and then he delivers this information that, like, yeah, he likes to talk to women. He loves women. Like he just can't help himself. Like, loves talking to women. Would prefer to talk to women at all times than men. Would have been around too many men in his life. Love that boon. So it's sort of like setting up little disastrously foreshadowing in my mind. What other so Karak and Brittany also we have to move on to.
oh yeah.
And basically what happens with them is that Karak and Brittany had gone obviously to have a meal with Karak's prison mom, and like we were talking about how we're gonna have to meet Brittany's family, and we know that Brittany's family is like super conservative, super Christian, and it's Father's Day. So on Father's Day, they want to go have a meal with what just looks like just her dad. Now her dad to go to this meal. Now Brittany is wearing, which is like interesting to me, absolutely no makeup, absolutely fucking no makeup, but like a Chanel-esque looking tweed jacket and like shoes. And they sometimes like to cosplay. They're all wearing like Louis Vuitton or fake Louis Vuitton. Like every scene is like Karak putting his feet in like Louis Vuitton slides or whatever. It's just LOL to me. Come on. But anyway, so we're at this meal and we know that like her dad's supposed to show up, and she's been texting him before there, like, and it's just not looking fucking good. And
Yeah.
as the meal goes on, it's just very apparent that this man is absolutely not showing up. Now, I'll tell you this right now, because we know this show so well and Matt Sharp and all of this, we know because we've seen the like conversation in front of a parent about trans and being about gay, and here's my girlfriend or my boyfriend or all of it and all the things that you can have conversations with. It's always been very interesting, like how conservative can someone be on TV and who would allow, because it's a very intense conversation to have. And so I wonder if they even ever really had the dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. It feels like that was all fake. But she starts to cry and she's like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And so he calls his prison mom, not his real mom, his prison mom, to talk to her to like ease her pain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then they like drive. That's the unhappy Father's Day portion of that one for them.
Oh, the
But
next one's so much better, right? Did you love, yeah, the next part of them, the next season, the next episode of them?
the one from last night, they were in last
Yeah.
night.
Yes.
Oh, remind me.
Oh no, maybe this is Unhappy Father's Day too. So then we go over to Kirak's mom's house, and Kirak's mom is teaching her
Oh
how to
yes.
cook, how to
Hmm.
cook. And
Hmm.
it's like, bitch, when I met you, you were 103. 103. Tell
Yeah.
me that you don't tell me you don't like my cooking. Tell me in my face. Tell me in my face that you don't like those biscuits. She's like, I like the biscuits. She's like, you don't like the collard greens. I don't like the collard greens. You don't like the collard, you don't eat the collard greens.
Mm-mm, I don't like collard greens.
I got
Mm-mm.
this from Bryce and Beans, honey, or whatever. I actually love collard greens. It's Chris Farris saying that I love collard greens. But anyway, yeah, like the cook, like they're just like rubbing like all the spices. It looks so good. Like, like Key Rock's mom has been cooking. Like, it's so funny. For instance, who are also missing? That really boring couple.
Sheree and Anthony?
Yeah, Sheree and Anthony. So remember how Anthony like could not care about his mom's cooking at all?
At all.
It's
At
just
all.
so interesting. Like Donna of Melissa and Louie can't cook.
At all.
Like it's just so it's like, but
You want sauce?
you can see it, so I like literally was like, can she have a YouTube channel? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love that she told her to go put a little hairnet on, which is like a bonnet. I thought she was actually gonna go get a hairnet, but it was a
I know.
bonnet. I feel like, I mean, maybe I wasn't the first, but I used to always do my things with my bonnet on my head. Used to always do all of my lives. Everything had a bonnet on. Somebody was like, "Ah, you sing me, me, me," and I was like, "No, I'll keep my bonnet on."
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
yeah. So Shrey and Anthony, girl, I don't even know what happened. They weren't in the last episode, but they were in this current. They weren't in the episode before that, episode 5 or 6, but they were definitely in episode 7, and it was so boring.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh my god. It was like he's so rude because he's just got out of prison and he hates everything. There's like a party at his house, her house for him. The parole officer says, "Yes, you can go to the thing." Okay, anticlimactic again. Then they get there and then we meet her twin.
Mhm.
And the twin is like, "I'm gonna be here regardless. I'm gonna be here regardless. So even if you don't, I love her." And she's just like titties out, like the nipples. How do you? I have two. I can't have my nipples out in front of my dad and my brother. I just can't.
I really love low-hanging fruit. It's
Titties.
interest Yeah, I love
Mm.
low-hanging fruit. Uh, I am only surprised when she wears things that it does feel like there is no support and it could just fall the very out of it, like in front of her son. But, you know, and we've seen so many iterations. I'll say the white outfit was the worst because of the like asymmetricalness. It didn't go for me. But yeah, like her twin looks nothing like her, but the son loves that Anthony, and Anthony in the kitchen feels better than he ever has. Like maybe he just needed like some time and sleep, but he looks good. The way he talks about taking care of Sheree's son feels good. Sheree's loving like his masked demeanor, like a feeling like he can take care of things if that's real. Hopefully, the brother is like, honey, when they're in the fucking prison, they write a book of lies. Oh, they're Jane Austen. No, they're like, this is, you know, J.K. Rowling. This is that man that wrote all the Game of Thrones. This is just like
This is
pages and
J.R.R.
pages.
Marlin, Marvin,
There's
Marvin, Marvin. This is
encyclopedias,
J.
okay?
J.L. Tolkien. You know what
That's
I'm
the
saying?
one. That's the one. There's too many like, yeah, I don't know all the like, you know, letter names. But so after that, this is why it's horrible because we don't care about the party. The only person that cares about this party is Sheree, and we
Yes.
don't care about Sheree. We
Yes.
don't care about Sheree and this
At
and her
all.
her baby daddy at all.
At
Like,
all.
and Avery doesn't either, and it has nothing to do with him. And she's not fabulous or exciting or like she's boring. So like,
Let's bring back Monique and Derek. Come on.
oh my god, I mean a billion other people. So listen, we're not talking about anyone else that might have passed on to the other afterlife. We can't be doing that
Yeah, we
anymore.
can't do
So
it. We
we
can't do it.
fuck that shit. So we're not gonna talk about it. We don't care about
But
we
there's
care about them. We care about them, but we don't care about making money off of dead backs. Oh, that's horrible. I mean, I'm just gonna fucking talk about him. I don't want to.
I know. I don't never want to. I didn't want to talk to him about him from the beginning. But let's
I,
talk about Chelsea and Mikey because she's being mean to Mikey. Even though
oh
I mean,
my god.
okay, I don't get it. Here's the truth. I don't get it.
Yes,
I
you
don't know
don't.
what it's like to.
Have that man with those arms that want to fuck you so
Mhm,
bad and been
mhm.
talking to him for years and he's been learning a whole last like language for you and like you didn't even have like here's the thing, you don't have to fuck him. But the fact that you thought that you weren't gonna even like be like, hey babe, I know you just got out of prison like years and you're not gonna like want to cheat on me, but at the same time, just so you know, like we can't have sex, but I will give you again the handiest handy of your life.
Mhm,
She
mhm.
like, how come she didn't offer him like the sloppiest BJ?
I don't know. She's trying to do something new, something different this time, and she's just being mean. So she like wakes up and she's like sick, so she has an attitude. And then he gets her some tea, and then she gets a call from her friend, and the friend shows her a letter saying that she's losing all of her government subsidies. And she is like, "How am I supposed to take care of my kids?" And all I feel like is, did you miss to go somewhere? Were you supposed to go and check in and you missed it? Like, how? Why don't you? Can't you just go back and say, "Hey, I am still, I still need help." I mean,
All of it.
I mean, it just depends on like, is she getting some kind of support because of her disability, her being deaf? I don't know if that's considered a disability. I don't consider it a different disability officially, but I don't know if in the eyes of the government it's considered one. But is she is that what it could? But she could still go to them and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I missed the deadline." It's just like, what happened? But she like completely has in an attitude and has a funk, and then doesn't want to talk to him, and he doesn't know how to help her. He's already like overwhelmed. And it just was like, this is not the side of Chelsea we wanted to see. Not that she's not allowed to be upset, but we just don't quite understand what's going on.
Yeah, like, also just in the sheer fact of, like, you do realize this person that's in love with you just came out of fucking prison and just, like, is obsessed with you and wants, like, your every part of you, and then you're just, like, sick and this, and then, like, yeah, you miss your kids, but you having this thing happen, it's not his fault, and also kind of feels like maybe you should have some other options, or, like, it shouldn't be, like, as I mean, it's dire, but scary, like, just and if you have to go figure it out, then maybe that's what's happening, like, but don't just sit here and pout about it because he has to go see his lawyer because also like fucking shit crazy happened to him. We
Yeah.
know about, which is basically in fucking prison, he gets a stroke that happens in the middle of the goddamn day, and like 7 hours goes by of him being shackled and shit, and before he's even like really taken or being seen by anyone. And because of that, he has issues which now he can sue for. So he has to go and see a lawyer by himself, and he wants her to go at first, but because she had yelled at him about interpreting, and now she's like weird in the car and she doesn't want to go in with him, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go by myself, and maybe that's like better. He gets all this information. And it's really hard information. It's like, look, this is going to take a fucking long time. Maybe you won't have to pay for it now, but this is going to be intense and we have to get this. And it's like, that's a lot to sink in. Again, he is just come out of prison. We know that, like, even like having daylight and being outdoors and having the stimulus, like all of it's so fucking different. It's just, and I think that I would just be overly very sensitive about this. But anyway, God bless. I've also seen now episodes of the show. So he gets in the car and she's dismissive and weird, as if the
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker didn't have a stroke in prison and now has to go to a lawyer and talk about it. Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
that happened. Like, you were there for it. I even know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and also maybe this is a little bit of fake because it's like we know that she's very empathetic. So basically, she is like being a bitch. And she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna drive with you for a bit." She's like, "Well, fine, get out." And so she drives off, which does feel fake, right? But also brilliantly acted. And he's like, well, if I'm not going to be with someone that's just going to like not come back and maybe walk on the side of the road, especially low key when I learned a whole fucking language for her.
Okay, Chris. Okay, she learned the language. Okay.
Listen, honey, if this was like, yeah, if this was Amy of, I got Amy's name right.
What are you talking
Of
about? Who's
David and
Amy?
Sheila, and me be like, it
Oh,
takes 1 month to learn this language. 1 month.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, go ahead.
That's true. All right, guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you so much. I know we just like went through it, but really those were the highlights. And aren't you grateful that we just did it that quickly? Also, yeah, I mean, like, anyways, if you want to see the visuals of what you're listening to right now, you can join us on patreon.com for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month, plus other little fun treaties. At some point, we're just gonna get back to doing some documentaries, some docuseries. The Murdaugh murders are out, so watch that. But yeah, if you want to see other ways to support us, Chris can tell you the free ways.
First of all, just so you know, this is a Monday night, and next Monday is our
Live.
Patreon only live. So, if you want to, you're free to give us 5 stars wherever you're listening to a podcast right now. You can give us a review and be nice. And also follow us on social media. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X/Twitter. We also have a Facebook group. It's called the DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. So sorry if I've like slurred every word. I've been drinking. So I love you guys so much though. Happy Halloween, happy holidays as it comes up. I hope that you are safe and with your loved ones and finding family and friends wherever you can, because you know you can really find them in odd places.
Mm-hmm. You can find them under a rock. You can find them in an alley. You can find them in a dressing room at Burlington Coat Factory. You can also find them
Prison
in
websites.
you find them in the children's section, the children's sci-fi section of Barnes and Nobles as well. So
When Brittany throws it back in Handy's face, like, and he knows where he's fucking finding women, I just want to be like, you all do.
Yeah, they do. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.